Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we are going to be the only people on the Black Diamond Trail. Yes, we're going to 2N17X. It is a Black Diamond Trail, and we're going to be taking this Lexus GX460 up this trail. It's stock height. It is an absolutely beautiful trail surrounded by Lake Arrowhead and Lake Silverwood. There you see the sign, Black Diamond, most difficult. Okay, the trail starts right here. This is known as the Gatekeeper. So to the right is the more difficult path, but honestly, the left side we're going here is equally as difficult due to the washing. This whole trail is pretty much carved in a bunch of new ravines, essentially, so the ruts are more than ruts now, they're ravines. And this is very steep. Look at the interior camera for an idea if you don't understand how steep this is, or how off camber or tilty it is, or rolly, whatever we want to call it. So the roll and pitch here are going to be hard to pick up on the camera, but do look at that rear camera and you see the horizon going sideways. Look at the front camera and you see the horizon also going sideways. That's the angles that we're at. So this trail is absolutely gorgeous, but I think it's rated Black Diamond due to the extreme angles that you're going to take. Again, as we are moving along here, keep in mind that the camera flattens it out. We are headed straight up from desert elevation up into mountain elevation. So this is essentially a series of challenging hill climbs. And so that was the first obstacle, the first hill climb that people call the Gatekeeper that we just went up. And that gives you a taste of what's to come. You know, it's called the Gatekeeper because it just, that's what people call it, because it gives you a taste of things to come. So anyway, look at these ruts to the left. And watch in 4K, if available, you'll kind of get a better understanding of the depth. And again, keep your eyes out to the rear there, and you'll get a better appreciation. Look at the background out of the sunroof. You'll see how steep we're going. Now, vehicle details. This is a Lexus GX460, 2021 model, full-time four-wheel drive. Right now we are in 4-low in drive with the center differential locked. This vehicle has A-track. So far, each of these hill climbs required A-track. So This vehicle also has KDSS, which is a sway bar disconnect front and rear. Excellent systems. But A-Track and KDSS are pretty much a necessity on this trail for a stock height vehicle such as this. Remember, this vehicle is not lifted. It's on BFG KO2s. So the KDSS is going to allow this maximum articulation for what this vehicle is, and it's going to allow those wheels to drop down into these ruts so we don't lose traction. When we do lose traction, you can clearly hear the A-Track actuators clicking away, and that is A-Track doing its thing. This vehicle does not have a locker, aka a traditional locker. It has a brake locking differential system on the front and rear that is absolutely phenomenal, and that is A-Track. Don't let anybody tell you A-Track doesn't work, lockers are better, blah 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 blah. You're watching it here. Yeah, the only other person up here was a two-wheeler. A couple dirt bikes were up here, but we did not see any other 4x4s, and that includes purpose-built 4x4s like Can-Ams and things like that you tow to the trail. They weren't even up here. And keep in mind, this is a Saturday. There goes another bike. This is a Saturday afternoon, so this is not a weekday. We were afraid this trail would be jam-packed, wall to wall, with caravans of off-roaders, but not a soul was up here as far as another 4x4 vehicle. So keep that in mind if you're interested in Toyotas, what the GX can do. Look at those ruts to the right. That is a deep rut. We drove this trail about a year ago. It was not like this, and I'm assuming that's what it's like most of the time, aka when there's not a once in 80 years tropical storm, aka Hurricane Hillary, hitting Southern California. So if that didn't make any sense, then this is abnormal what you're seeing here. The conditions here, all these ravines, as I'll call them, gullies, whatever you want to call them, where the water has just carved away a new channel, a new gutter, if you will, into the road for a long distance, and dug in really, really deep. This is not normal. Under normal conditions, it's a black diamond trail. So I would rate this at the more extreme end of a black diamond trail. It's all subjective, of course, but this was not how it was a year ago when we took it. You can see to the right, that's a huge series of ruts there. So people off-road know, people who film off-road know that the camera flattens things out. So just know that there's a reason I think nobody else was up here but us. So getting back to the vehicle, we're looking at the current generation Lexus GX, aka Land Cruiser Prado, and the standouts here again are A-Track and KDSS. That might not seem like a lot, and I guess you'd be fair to say they're marginal differences, or they make a marginal difference. But again, KDSS is going to disconnect your sway bars front and rear, just like a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. It can disconnect the sway bars front and rear, and it gives you excellent articulation. There goes the biker again. Even he's not going in the ruts. And then when you do lose traction, all throughout this trail where A-Track is engaging and doing its thing. And I am an A-Track proponent, so I will always sing A-Track's praises. Some of the myths of A-Track typically come down to a locker's better. That's what they say. I'm going to keep it real here and say if you've ever actually off-roaded, you wouldn't say that. So, I don't mean to be mean here, but I honestly think people who don't actually off-road are the only ones that say, no, locker's better. Toyota removed lockers from their vehicles 23 years ago in most markets, their Land Cruisers, etc., and they replaced it with A-Track. And they've been they've known Toyota's known what a locker is since World War II. Back with their Toyota Jeep, they called it, which looks just like a Jeep Wrangler, way back during World War II. And that is what all of these vehicles, your 4Runner, your Land Cruisers, your GX, your LX, it's all based on that old school Japanese Jeep clone, the Toyota Jeep. So Toyota engineers are well aware of what a locker is. Why did they remove the locker and replace it with A-Track? You're looking at it. Because it's the only one on this trail. It's the only vehicle on this trail. So, forgive me if I sound braggadocious about A-Track. It's their system, it's not mine, and it just works. I'm trying to be as objective as possible. Here we are planning which way should we go, left, right. This is a big dip to the left. It doesn't look like it was a big downhill, again, ravine. There, look at the sky. That's the actual horizon. These are big ruts or ravines. Big meaning deep. It's not just a little bit washed out. And this, this A-Track system just sails right up it between KDSS keeping the wheels in the ground and A-Track keeping the power where it belongs. It will do its thing. I don't know what the heck just happened there, but it was an A-Track issue. So don't go, oh, you needed a locker. No, I don't know what happened. But lockers are all about traction. And I will tell you from driving this GX since new, traction is the last thing that I worry about in this Lexus GX460. I have no worries about traction at all. Will the vehicle lose traction? Even going straight up in the air like this doesn't cross my mind at all. Never. The only thing I worry about is the clearance issue. So high centering, which we've high centered 2 or 3 times. I forget, I lose count. And we've almost high centered maybe 2 more times. So that's the only thing I worry about, high centering and rolling the vehicle. But when it comes to traction, the A-Track system just does the job. There's no other way to put it. So, again, I hate to sound like a broken record or a worshiper of A-Track. I just think it is a misunderstood and unappreciated system outside of Toyota fanboys and girls. And even within Toyota fanboy and fangirl world, it still falls back on this, you need a locker type of talk. And A-Track is a locker, it's just a brake locker. Instead of braking inside of the differential, it brakes at the wheels itself. Same idea. All right, enough rambling about A-Track. You are watching in action. Check out these ruts right and left, and check out how effortless this vehicle makes it all happen. It's the new GX550 is coming out soon, which is going to have even more articulation, front and rear. So it comes with the new EKDSS system. And its A-Track system has been refined. Now, I've only found a few sources, Japanese sources, explaining what's improved on the new GX550 as far as A-Track is concerned. In other words, the next generation of A-Track. And it mostly comes down, or at least what's been revealed, is it's a lot quieter. And a lot of people freak out with the A-Track actuators clicking and beeping away, and then they panic and take their foot off the pedal, and this is where the system gets all sorts of misinformation. Oh, the 8-track can't figure it out. Oh, it's losing forward momentum. Oh no, it's not working. Blah blah blah. That's mostly a psychological thing. All you simply have to do to use 8-track, aka your brake lockers, on your 8-track equipped vehicle is to simply drive the car. Command it to go forward. In the same situation, you'd command a locked vehicle to go forward, and it will go forward. It won't lose forward momentum. It won't slip backwards. It won't fall down the mountain. It won't spin its wheels. You get the idea. Sorry, I said I'd be done with 8-track blabbering a while ago. And I'm not. Because I can't, I can't emphasize it enough. It's a phenomenal system. This is a ginormous ravine. I know it's not a real ravine. I think true ravines are like the size of small rivers, but yeah, this is a major gutter here that has been torn away in the earth by Hurricane Hillary. So we're walking here to hopefully see if this GX can pass. Because as you've noticed, other than the 2 dirt bikers that went up, on a Saturday, there's not one other vehicle up here, going up or down or anywhere in sight. So, yeah, we're a little bit worried here. Wondering why nobody else is on this trail. Let's see, can the GX do it? Of course she can. With ease. And up she goes. So this trail will lead you up to the top of the San Bernardino Mountains. And it connects up with a bunch of other trails and a bunch of mountain communities like Big Bear, Arrow Bear, Crestline, mountain communities, if you're into that sort of thing. So you can connect up to different trails, or you can just come back, turn around and come back the way you came. Now look at the horizon, and you'll see that these ravines are basically creating a lot of off-camber or tilty or rolly type of situations. And they're also creating high center situations. So that mound that I'm trying to straddle, I can't let it get under the, I can't get high centered on it, is what I'm trying to say. So traction locker is never on my mind here. The only thing on my mind is don't high center on this high stuff. The mound that's been carved into the road by the water and the other off-roaders that have, dug their tires, say lifted Jeeps or whatever, created those 2 low spots with the high spot in the center. You get what I'm saying. So high centering has been my only concern, high centering and rolling. And as we're going to see here when we get ahead, we're going to talk about rolling, because we did, let's say, get close to rolling. Tipping the vehicle over, you'll see here in a second. But Toyota seemed to solve many of the traction issues. And by the way, this area is really cool. Looks like a bridge going into a jungle. So this is kind of the woodsy area. And you'll see here in a moment that we're going to not be able to proceed any further. So this is a narrow section, and then it kind of goes, the vegetation gets really green here, presumably because a lot of water floods. You can see how narrow it is. It's a drop on the left and the right. Anyway, I was saying how Toyota I think has solved a lot of the traction issues with A-Track, MTS, that's multi-terrain select, crawl control, downhill assist, KDSS, etc. And it comes down to less worry on the trail. You know, less, am I going to get traction to move? And more, you know, what we worry about is just don't roll it. Don't roll off a cliff, and don't high center. But traction issues, I think Toyota is really closing the gap here with its A-Track system particularly. And that's on most Toyota 4x4 vehicles, including your base 4Runner. So a lot of people blab about lockers, not realizing that even your entry level or whatever, low level, you get what I'm saying, the cheap 4Runner 4x4 will have A-Track on it. And so it performs very, very well right out of the box due to that system. I know I kept saying this wasn't going to be an A-Track rambling video, but I guess that's what it's turning into. All right, look at the horizon. Look at the clouds. I'm going to draw a line here. And you're going to see that we are at an extreme angle. Now, the GX is doing just fine as far as traction. But what did I say I'm always worried about? High centering or rolling over. Look at those clouds. That is the actual angle. Tilt your head so you can see the line on your screen, and now look at the car. That's the situation that we're up against. So this is not a traction issue. I'm not losing traction. I'm going sideways into this wall here. And my lovely passenger here is not, let's just say, not the biggest fan of off-roading. In other words, she's scared. And when someone's afraid, the fun is over, and you've got to get out of the situation. So here we are, backing out. If you notice, there was some wood. I don't know if they were 4x4s, 6x6s, or railroad ties. I don't know if somebody got stuck in that situation or what, or they just washed down from above somewhere. I don't know. That was the main idea. If my wife wasn't scared to continue forward, I would have got out the car on the passenger side. I would have backed up so I can get out, and I would have moved the wood out of the way and slowly progressed forward. It wasn't a traction issue, it was a being dumped into the wall issue. And if for some reason you want to see what's beyond all that, we did do this a year ago, and you'll see the difference in conditions. So I'm going to put in the video description a link to what's past that section, and you'd be able to see what it looked like under, quote, normal conditions. And if I recall, I went through that section without even mentioning anything about it. It wasn't even interesting. So the lesson here is, no matter how experienced you are or whatever your level is, you may think you know a trail, but weather will change. So never assume, oh, it's just an easy trail, or it's just a moderate trail, or I've done this Black Diamond trail before. The weather will change those conditions, so you have to be ready to accept that one way or the other. It can change them for the better, like these ruts and ravines will get filled in by the wind, and the cars coming up and down and dragging the dirt where it belongs, and future rainstorms, blah blah blah. It will change. So the trails are truly dynamic. They're truly alive, and the geography is truly alive. So I've been on trails where I watch it on YouTube. I watch people on YouTube go to a trail and they say, oh, it's rated moderate, and I said, wow, that looks easy, blah blah, and then sorry, I'm saying blah blah now, but they will they'll say the trail is easy, and then we get to the trail, and then in real life you're like, this is way harder because a sandstorm blew in, a rainstorm, snow, whatever. You know, it can be anything. Even someone else stuck on the trail. It could be a fallen tree. It could be your own car having a problem. So that's part of the adventure, is preparing for whatever. At the end of the day, no matter what you do, no matter what trail you take, and if you got to back down like we're doing here, at the end of the day, you always learn a lesson. You always learn something new, and you always gain experience. We did not complete 2N17X this time because we had to back down for, comfort reasons, shall we say. and so I wouldn't get beat up. If I was alone, I would have did it, but I didn't want to get beat up. And but we learn lessons. We learn lessons every time. So don't be afraid to get out there, make mistakes, learn from your mistakes. That's how we get better. Off-roading is a sport of failure. Off-roading is a sport of getting stuck. Off-roading is a sport of making mistakes and maybe even wrecking your car. That's what it is. That's what we do. It's how we get better. You learn from making mistakes. It's part of the adventure. It's not a perfection game. It's not a, I can do everything, anything game. It's a very humbling sport, and it's for those who like to be humbled, and it's for those who realize that they can grow from being humbled. So this was as always, a learning experience for us, and we take that as a positive. I can't put it any other way than we learned. My wife here learned how to back me down the hill, so she was given the driver's side, turn the wheel, driver's, passenger, give it gas, this more. So we learned the directions, and you learn problem solving, how to get out of your particular situation. How do you get out of your situation when you're stuck? How not to panic? How to work together? All this corny sounding stuff. Every adventure that you take, every trail that you go down, every experience that you have off-roading leads to some new nugget of learning, no matter how small that nugget may be. It helps you grow as a person. Intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, logically, and everything else. So, if you found this video helpful, please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a great, great day. Check that.